sing, but I can't speak. I'm paralyzed when you're next to me, running on dreams, 'cause I can't see how this could be reality. You're holding me close, but I don't know. Do I let you in? Do I let it show? All of my fears and all of these ghosts are the only things I've ever known.
Welcome back to Morning Coffee with Rick Alexander. If you're digging the show, I would dig it if you would head to iTunes and give us a 5-star review. Or if the message is resonating with you, share it with somebody else that you think it might resonate with. Share it with Instagram, tag us at Lionheart Radio and at Rick Alexander _. And I would be super appreciative. But of course, I'm always appreciative of you listening. Hopefully I continue to give you some sort of a provocative thought that you can think through. And I say this a lot on the show, but truthfully, I don't actually care if you agree with me or not. And I don't even think the point of this show is for you to agree with me. In fact, I would say that the most benefit that you're going to take from this show is to hear the thought and then just think about how it might apply to your life or how it might not. But either way, I guarantee you're going to learn something about yourself if you think the thought through enough. And so today what I wanted to do is I wanted to talk to you about the way that you talk. And I've got a couple episodes this week that are going to be based on language and how that sort of affects the way that we're going through our lives. But this is one of the most beneficial things that I've ever learned. I learned it through Mark England, who has a course called Procabulary, which is a great course dealing with language. And then also through Mike Bledsoe and his Strong Coach program. If you know him, he's the original founder of Barbell Shrugged. We had him on the show a couple of times. So you can head back and check those out if you feel so inclined. But what I wanted to ask you today is how you think about the things that you want or don't want in your life. And I think the way that you sort of vocalize what it is you're looking for really does speak volumes about what you actually think that you deserve or what you're capable of. So one of the things that I've seen happen a lot when people are thinking about what they want to do with their lives, they're thinking about trying to maybe step into something bigger or do something a little different with their lives or pivot or jump to a different career. One of the things that happens is we end up falling into a survival mindset. Now, of course, there's a lot of reasons for why this would happen. It's been hardwired into our DNA through evolution to specifically pick up on negative circumstances so that you can continue to survive. Now, of course, I talk a lot about how in 2019, that no longer is the most beneficial thing for us to do. A lot of times we have to overcome our biological hardwiring in order to get all that life actually has for us, right? In order to see life unfold in a way that we actually want it to. Now, one of the ways that you'll know for sure that you are living in a survival mindset is when you think about this pivot in your life or this other thing that you might want to do, maybe start a business, maybe a career, maybe a new hobby, maybe you want to move to a new state, maybe you want to date a new person, whatever it is, when you think about the things that you want, and then you try to vocalize it, do you vocalize it in all of the things that you don't want? In other words, are you using negations when you talk about the life that you want? This was one of my biggest problems when I was getting ready to get out of the military and go into full-time entrepreneurship. I would always talk about what I didn't want. See, I didn't want to go broke, and I didn't want to have no clients, and I didn't want to become an embarrassing failure, truthfully. One of the things that humans do is we tend to go where we put our focus. And so if you are always talking about the things that you don't want, you in turn are going to actually move toward those things. And that's a bummer, but that's actually just the way that this life thing works. And so what's a much different conversation is to think about the things that you do want. And I actually had to have my coach, who was Mike Bledsoe at the time, actually pulled me out of this way of thinking and made me aware of the fact that I was in a survival mindset, because I continued to talk about the things that I didn't want. And so when I would talk about coaching, I'd be like, well, I don't want to come off as this kind of coach, and I don't want to come off as this kind of coach, and I don't want to run out of clients, and I don't want to run out of money, or I don't want to have enough, I don't want to be so broke that I can't afford the lifestyle that I'm used to. And so all I did was talk about what I didn't want. And finally, he just asked me, like, what do you actually want? And so as I started putting pen to paper and I started thinking about all of the things I actually do want, the thing that I realized, the light bulb moment for me, is that when you think about what you do want and you think about what you don't want, those are much different conversations. And so if we're going to try to direct the course of our lives in any kind of meaningful direction, then we have to think about what it is that we do want, and then we have to start building that. But if you spend your entire life thinking in negations, thinking about what you don't want, thinking about the things that you don't want to happen to you, at best, those things don't happen to you and you don't make any movement toward what you do want. And at worst, you do what most humans do and you go toward what you're focusing on, right? And then you end up manifesting the wrong reality because you're putting your focus in the wrong area. And I know when you start talking about manifesting any kind of reality, you get into this sort of woo-woo area, but at the end of the day, that's psychologically how we're actually made up. And so you will go toward what you focus on. You will see opportunities toward what you focus on. And so if you stay in a survival mindset, chances are you'll get that, right? You'll just survive. But surviving and thriving are very different things, and they require very different conversations to have. And so my question to you today would be, what do you want? You've thought about what you don't want. I guarantee we're all hardwired in order to do that. You've thought about all of the ways it could go wrong. You've thought about the life that you want and all of the ways that you could fail or not succeed. But what do you want? Perhaps maybe you need to make that your focal point and then maybe start working toward that. Because again, those are very different conversations and those lead to very different results. So hopefully this one makes sense for you. Hopefully you can see areas in your own life where you are speaking in negations and working on what it is that you don't want. I love you guys. I'll talk to you later on Morning Coffee.
I don't want to waste the weekend. If you don't love me, pretend a few more hours, then it's time to go. As my train rolls down the east coast, I wonder how you'll keep warm. It's too late to cry, too broken to move on, and still I can't let you be. Most nights I hardly sleep, don't seek what you don't need from me. It's just a drop in the ocean, a change in the weather. I was praying that you and me might end up together. It's like wishing for rain as I stand in the desert, but I'm holding you closer than most, 'cause you are my heaven. Misplaced trust and old friends, never counting the regrets. By the grace of God, I do not rest at all. In New England as the leaves change, the last excuse that I'll claim, I was a boy who loved a woman like a little girl, and still I can't let you be. Most nights I hardly sleep, don't seek what you don't need from me. It's just a drop in the ocean, a change in the weather. I was praying that you and me might end up together. It's like wishing for rain as I stand in the desert, but I'm holding you closer than most, 'cause you are my heaven. Doesn't seem far away anymore. Now, heaven doesn't seem far away. Heaven doesn't seem far away anymore. Now, heaven doesn't seem far away. It's just a drop in the ocean, a change in the weather. I was praying that you and me might end up together. It's like wishing for rain as I stand in the desert, but I'm holding you closer than most, 'cause you are my heaven.